Relationships, everybody has them, and they can be a blessing and a challenge at times. Next to me is Pastor Jason, who just finished an amazing series all about relationships with students on Sunday nights. Pastor Jason, can you tell us a little bit about this series, what you called it, and how long it took to go through it?
Yeah, we just called it Relationships. We did it the whole month of May. We talked about friendships, but also dating relationships. And then last Sunday, the 27th, something like that, Pastor, we went over more of the hot topics. We covered things about sex and porn. We separated our genders. My wonderful wife Rachel took the girls, I took the boys, and we just kind of wanted to give them the Christian perspective on these things.
Wonderful. So relationships, all aspects, including really sensitive issues. I'm sure that took a lot of prayer and preparation for everybody. So I guess I'll ask on behalf of parents, grandparents, everybody else watching, is this much of an issue for students today, the idea of relationships? And are we talking about, peers and friends? Are we talking about boyfriend, girlfriend? What are we looking at?
Yeah, relationships is a real big issue that we get with the youth. We get people coming and ask for counseling about this all the time. But statistically speaking, there's a lot of statistics that can scare you. By the age of 12, that's the average age for kids to start watching porn. By the time they're 13, over half of them have been exposed. We see that one of the scary statistics of all is only 1 in 10 students believe that porn is a bad thing. And so that's 90% of students believe that porn is an okay thing to do. And it's something that we got to make sure we get ahead of.
Wow. So this is really impacting students and their relationships with other people big time.
Yes.
So how 1 in 10, that's a stunning statistic. I didn't know that. And I know it seems like we're getting right to the sensitive, scary stuff first, but how does this affect students in their relationships as they pursue relationships with, have a boyfriend or girlfriend or courting or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah.
How's this affecting them?
Yeah. We see that it can cause addiction, isolation, aggression, negative feelings, even distorted beliefs. We know that it can change your brain chemistry and lead to anxiety disorders. It's powerful stuff, and we want to make sure we're taking care of it.
Wow. And you just listed off a whole bunch of stuff that as an adult, I know in our Christian ministry counseling side of things and talking to other therapists in the community, you just mentioned like 5 of the top things that people are going to get Christian counseling for and marriage counseling and different things like that. And you're telling me that middle school students,
Age of 12.
8 to 12.
No, age of 12.
Age of 12. Okay,
Yes.
Thank you. Hearing.
Yeah.
But as early as 12 years old, middle school and high school students are having all of these symptomatic issues.
Yeah.
And it all stems from not really understanding relationships and getting involved in things online, on their smartphone, tablet, TV, wherever.
Wherever. Or a friend.
Or a friend.
That's a common way.
Wow. So obviously this doesn't help relationships at all. If you're having anxiety and all these feelings, different things, and perceptions and fantasy and then reality, how do we help them?
Yeah, there's hope, right? I think that's the important part. We need to make sure that we find the hope. And of course, Jesus is our hope. But in this, we understand that on average, if a student can come to a trusted adult and talk to them about these things, they can change their view. And so it's important to start having these conversations. I know a lot of parents, it's uncomfortable to have that conversation and to work them through it, but it's so vital for the student to learn from somebody that they can trust.
Okay.
They're going to learn about it from somewhere, Pastor. Let's be the resource for them and be the light, exposing the lies that they see and giving them the truth.
I think that is so true and so fantastic. I think of how hard we work as a church to provide great resources, to share truth and love. I know as a parent how much I love my son, and I know how much other parents love their kids, and we get one chance to share things with them, and we know we can't always insulate them from everything the world's going to share, but we can be a voice of truth is what you're saying.
That's right.
And they'll listen if we'll take the time to have the conversation.
That's right.
So when we have the conversation, maybe as a parent we feel like we're a little out of touch with everything that's going on technology-wise.
Sure.
Maybe we're not aware of how quick and easy things are to get a hold of and how you can accidentally stumble into a bad habit.
That's right.
What resources are out there to help parents to navigate all this stuff that wasn't there when we were kids?
Yeah, the number one way that students are viewing porn is on their phones. And so giving them a guardrail, giving them support on these devices, maybe it's an iPad, maybe it's their phone, maybe a computer, is going to be so vital. There's a company that I've looked into that I think does a great job. It's called Covenant Eyes. They'll just put guardrails up, just like you would when you're trying to train them to drive, that you put the seatbelt on, just like you want to do for when they get on their phone. It can be just as dangerous. And so we want to make sure that we give them those guardrails. They do a great job, but there's also Christian companies out there like Focus on the Family or Desiring God. They put out great step-by-step tips, like this is how I talk to my children, how I do these conversations. And we'll link those in the description below about how they decide to describe it, and I think they do a really good job too.
Awesome. Those are great resources. And parents, if you're trying to really understand it, think about, you can't go with your kid everywhere they go. You can't go everywhere your student goes, but their cell phone goes with them, and then these apps go with.
Yeah.
I like that, to put guardrails up.
That's right.
And in some cases filters, other times just straight accountability.
That's right.
So that you can say, hey, I thought we weren't viewing this kind of stuff. What's this all about? Right?
Yeah.
So it brings accountability to the situation.
Yeah, no filter's perfect, but it does help kind of just get that conversation started with your youth.
Right, right. And then in addition to those types of resources, are there times when a student might come to you, or a student and a parent might come to you and say, Pastor Jason, we're dealing with an issue of X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
Have you done that type of conversation with parents? Have we provided counseling? What do we do if, let's say someone, hey, we're beyond the guardrails.
Yeah.
We want help. We want to change
Sure.
this. My son doesn't like it. My daughter doesn't like it. We don't like it. But
Yeah.
we feel like we're in quicksand. We don't know what to do.
That's right.
What do we do in that place?
Yeah, I've definitely had those conversations with parents and with the child themselves, the teen, and we just have a conversation. I'm not a licensed counselor, but I'd love to talk to them and be one of those trusted people that they can come to, and I can just kind of expose some lies and shed some truth into that situation.
Right. And then we do have professional counselors
Yes.
that we can refer
Absolutely.
out if we need to. And I tell you, that having somebody to talk to, I think that's one of the greatest ways that people have overcome
That's right.
unexpected addictions to all kinds of things, not just these things.
It's accountability.
But having that accountability, that
Yeah.
check-in person is huge. You know, I remember when I was interviewing for your job several years ago. I remember asking you and other candidates, Jason, tell me what I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can remember, I remember that process, just questioning every assumption that I had and assuming that maybe I don't know near as much as I know. And I found out that there was a lot of truth and I had a lot to learn. And
That's
you've
right.
taught me a lot about student life today and connecting with the kids, and I'm grateful for that. But as a parent, what are some misconceptions that we might have as parents today? We might think it's this, but it's actually that, or vice versa.
Sure.
But where do you think parents might need a bit of a reality check?
Yeah,
Shall we say?
The reality is it's changing so fast.
Okay.
And so the perceptions we had maybe even 10 years ago are different today.
Wow.
We grow in a completely different world. They're growing up in a different world. And so some of the things that we've researched out is if your child is a Christian, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be immune to these issues.
Okay.
Statistically, the Christian teens are the same amount going into these problems as people not having faith. And so don't rely on, oh, they're at church, or oh, they've accepted Christ. They still can stumble. They can
Right.
still find themselves in places they don't mean to be. And it just means they need to have these conversations and need the resources that we have.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing to understand. We can go to church, be a part of a church, be active,
Yeah.
be in fellowship with Christian athletes, have home devotions, whatever.
Sure.
But still, we're all susceptible
That's right.
to, oh my. And when that happens, we're here for you. So what a great resource. Not in our plan, but how did the students react and respond when you brought this topic up and when you started having a conversation? I don't want you to break any confidentiality,
Sure.
but how did that go?
Yeah, so I took the boys over here, so I'll only speak to the boys. But they seemed to do really well with it. They were mature enough to handle it.
Okay.
We had 6th graders in that classroom, and they were mature enough to have that conversation, ask questions, and I hope they learned something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. And Rachel, what'd she say about her experience with the young ladies?
Yeah, they asked way more questions than the young guys did. I
Okay.
think it was good for them to get away from
Right.
have a trusted female leader that they could talk to about it. And I think they had a really good conversation as well.
Well, that's awesome. Well, parents, we just wanted to kind of share this information with you. We want to let you know what's going on at our Family Life Center with Pastor Jason and Vertical Youth Ministries. We're excited to do so many things, and a series on relationships. How great is that? Everybody's going to have them.
That's right.
And we want to encourage people to have healthy relationships.
Of course.
And if we go down the wrong road, there's a way out. So I thank you for being brave to do this. And what I love, for those of you that don't know, we love to partner with parents at MCOG. And so before this ever happened, Pastor Jason got out and reached out to parents so nobody would be surprised, especially on such a
Of course.
sensitive topic. So parents knew ahead of time, and we had permission to have these conversations. But as we move forward, we're here for you. We want to be a resource for you. Like Pastor Jason said, in the description you'll see some links. And not just that, message us, comment, text, call, whatever, reach out to us. We want to partner with you, and we want to see your student as they go from student life to young adult life, whether that's college, military, marketplace, homemaking, whatever.
Yeah.
We want to see that transition be as strong as possible, and we want them to be as solid in their faith as they can be, and we certainly don't want to see them launched into adulthood and relationships with things that could really weigh them down and lead them in a dark way and be so damaging. So thank you so much for being brave, for doing this, and I hope other student pastors are doing the same thing. But MCOG, we're here to partner with parents. Any last words?
Thank you, Pastor. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.